If you've listened to this podcast, then you know the Tighten Up's brought to you by Last Shot Premium Hydration, the official hydration drink of Tighten Up. Their revolutionary formula is packed with vitamin B12 and 0 grams of sugar. It helps the Titans hydrate, replenish, and recover. Try it at Callahan Hall or learn more at lastshotofficial.com.
Do you really know how to play the game? Then tighten up!
Detroit, it's time to tighten up. Welcome to Tighten Up, the podcast, presented by The Shield NIL. Brought to you by Hyperice and Last Shot Energy. A state of the Titans, the latest in Detroit Mercy athletics, and a chance to hear from Titans all over the world. Here's your host, Dan Hasty.
You never know which ways that a collective can be impacted and what places that impact can come from. We've had some great guests here on Tighten Up. Welcome back. Another edition after the basketball seasons have closed out on both sides, men's and women's. Obviously, we have a lot to look forward to in some of the other sports for Titans athletics. We've already had a chance to talk soccer, for example. We've had a chance to talk lacrosse. We've had a chance to learn a little bit about some of the other sports going on. And obviously, there's many, many ways that you can get involved. You just go to their website, DetroitTitans.com, and you can find tickets and ways to support those student athletes. But right now is a very important time in college athletics, especially college basketball, because the transfer portal has just recently opened. And because of the state of college basketball, it is more important now than ever to strike while the iron is hot. Detroit Mercy is going to have a lot of spaces on the men's side to fill, and there are always some interesting places that we can learn about and interesting people that we can learn about in situations like this. So I am happy to introduce to you the executive director of the All Good Living Foundation, Chris Tam, gracious enough to join us. Chris, thank you again, my friend. Thank you very much for spending some time with us. This is a very busy time.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
So tell people a little bit about the All Good Living Foundation and how it kind of goes with or meshes with, in this case, Detroit Mercy, what you guys do.
Okay. So we started All Good Living Foundation 5 years ago in honor of my late father, Neil Tam. We created the program. We're based in Alameda, California. We're right next to Oakland, California. And we started in our little hometown we have like 80,000. But we started over here. The idea was to basically provide resources for kids in need in the Bay Area. There's 5,000 registered unhoused students in our county. And first we started by just providing those students, basically basic needs so they can go to school. Clothing, toiletries, shoes, and stuff like that. And that's how we first started out. And, we offer our services. We focus on Alameda County, which is like 15 cities for those 5,000 students. But if any other counties reach out to us for, shoes and clothes, we try to help out where we can. And we do help out areas in Los Angeles, California. We help out Houston, Texas. And, now we're excited about the opportunity of working in Detroit.
So I guess that kind of leads into the next thing. What does a group that really localizes around Alameda County, Alameda, California doing with Detroit Mercy?
Yeah, I mean, the thing about our programs is, I forgot to also mention, we do a lot of food distribution to help kids and families in need. That's actually our main thing now. And we're partners. We have a partnership with Whirlpool Corporation now, and the Legends, the NBPRA, which is going to be called the NBAA Alumni Association. So the current work that we're doing in Alameda and in Oakland in the Bay Area can just be translated to any city. And what we do over here in the Bay Area, like working with colleges like Cal Berkeley, we can do the exact same way in Detroit. Working with, basically all we do when we're helping kids is we unite everybody for the same common cause to help kids, And in the Bay Area too, we are getting all the faiths together. We work really closely with the Catholic and the Methodist churches, and we all unite together to help kids. And so we're really grateful for the partnerships and building communities with the faiths and the schools and the colleges.
So if somebody's listening to this right now and they are curious how people like yourself and a foundation like All Good Living can assist a collective and assist around this time of the year, which, for a lot of mid-major schools is one of the most important times of the year because they're having to navigate a very fluid situation and trying to build a team. How do you guys come in?
We come in by organizing the opportunities for the athletes. Like what we do is we build a relationship with the local schools, and we tell them about all the opportunities for their community on how we can help. And then what we do is we connect all the dots to bring student athletes or bring the churches, to work with their community for their needs. Here's a good example. Some of our new sport programming is we put organized sports into the schools, into elementary schools. A lot of PE teachers, I can't say they're not experts in a sport, but we give them more. We bring in like actual student athletes and coaches, and just give them opportunities of structured sports. And so that's one thing that we're growing. It's growing really well, actually. And then giving them opportunities to like bring the elementary school students or middle or high school to the colleges to get that experience, to watch games and get that experience, do meet and greets with, student athletes and staff.
That's such an important role. So many times in the history of this show, we have talked about, and we've talked to different student athletes, and we've asked, what is something that stands out, or what was your favorite moment when it came to connecting with Detroit, with the city itself, with the community itself? And they had almost every single one had a different answer, which is pretty cool. And being able to know that it's people like you that can also help connect and coordinate. Those are people who serve a great deal to what kind of mission a place like Detroit Mercy would have. So what have you seen in terms of what you guys have been able to connect and coordinate locally on your levels?
One of our main programs is to coordinate structured programs to end hunger in schools, to get resources of working with the food banks and restaurants and the churches, and to put in structured programming for the schools. Like we're trying to put in a healthy snack program to have kids have access to fruits and vegetables any time of the day, eat it in the classroom, and then help clean up, and some of the students are also helping prepare the meals, the snacks as well now, which is kind of amazing. So we put in like a snack program. There's a big stop waste component in the Bay Area, and so there's the restaurants are legally have to account for what they're doing with the food. So we put in like fruit that hasn't been eaten at the school. And like bread and pastries that haven't been sold the day before, and we bring it to the office. And in the bread and pastries and fruit is basically open for everyone to eat. Yeah, not all the principals want to do it, but I'm like, it works, and it just like everyone eat bread, even though that's not really healthy. It's like it's just we're trying to bring in programs that work in the Bay Area, and we're going to try to do the same thing in Detroit. If they're open to it. We put in food pantries in the schools, and we have it managed by the community. Usually like one or two people at the school help manage it. And then we just tell everybody it's important to get the parents and the students involved to build a community to help their own school, and then we do fruit and produce distribution, where we get recovered fruits and vegetables that have shorter shelf lives, and we send them to the schools, and we have the schools agree to give it away, to the parents or to the kids to take home.
And I will say this, I think about the current landscape of college athletics, and I know there are some people that have reservations, and I think about it from your perspective. The fact that you guys are essentially the connective tissue to the local community. So I'm curious, if I'm a Titans fan listening to this, if I've been a fan for a long time, if I'm involved with the Shield, or I'm thinking about being involved with the Shield, how can Titans fans help you?
The Titans fans can help us by definitely, donating to, our program to help the Detroit area. And then this will give the student athletes opportunities to do community service and to work within our programs in Detroit.
Well, it's something that I noticed on your website. You can go check this out, allgoodlivingfoundation.org. You can also make a donation. And if I'm not mistaken, those are tax write-offable. Is that right?
Yes, they're tax write-offs. And then in the next week or so, we're going to create basically all the opportunities for the student athletes to get involved in Detroit. And so we'll have like everything planned out, so they know that they can help coach at a school, or they could do food distribution and get involved.
It's going to be one of those things, and I know you've already done this on your local level, but to be able to do it here, I think you're going to notice how far of an impact you guys can make. You guys got to be excited. I mean, you guys have done this in California for such a long time. What motivated you guys to make this next step to branch out?
I mean, I always envisioned, any program that we have to, like, even though it was intended, we have to start in locally in Alameda and Oakland, but I envisioned this to just be a worldwide program because it's pretty easy to implement. And I don't know if it's just fate, but we've been meeting people that are from Alameda that now live in Detroit,
Hmm.
and they want to volunteer now and help coordinate. Yeah, it's so interesting. And I work with this lady named Sister Pat, and we were telling her about the programs that we're starting for kids over here, students over here. And she's from the Detroit area, and she was part of. She wasn't a part of the Sisters of Mercy, but she was part of another group that's pretty similar in the area. So it's just like, yeah, I think it's just fate. It's pretty amazing.
Well, the fact that you guys are branching out is cool. The fact that it happens to start with us is even cooler. So now, as people sort of, look at what they can do, whether it's, not just donating on a financial level, but it sounds like with you guys, they can also donate their time.
They could donate their time. Yeah, definitely. A lot of our programs, we work with a lot of retired teachers, educators that really, even though they're retired, they just really are passionate about helping kids. And so they're very already immersed in the community. And so it's so helpful to have, passionate people that are retired because, they still get to help and do their work just in a little bit different way. But, they have an opportunity.
And what a cool excuse to use and to involve Detroit Mercy student athletes. I mean, building brighter futures for children and families across the city of Detroit. Again, if people want to get in touch with you or with your foundation, tell them how they can do that.
They could just go to our website, allgoodlivingfoundation.org. And if they would like to send us a message, there's a submission form. They can go on our website and sign up to volunteer anytime.
How much have you learned about Detroit Mercy over the last couple of months?
I've been learning a lot because I've been calling all of, everybody in Detroit. I have an opportunity. I've been to work with the president of the NBPRA in Detroit, Derek Coleman. So I've been building a relationship with them. I had the honor of meeting Dave Bing, who founded the NBPRA, and he was the mayor of Detroit. And so to hear about like why they started their organization and to have that partnership in Detroit is pretty key to like bring everything all together. So yeah, I'm like learning a lot about Detroit. I never thought I'd be so immersed in Detroit.
And to meet Derek Coleman, you mentioned him when we were actually talking before the show. He is such a link to this city, this community. What was it like being able to touch base with him?
It was amazing because as a fan, I grew up like watching Derek Coleman, and then to hear his passion about helping kids and about like follow through, because he's all about like not just talking about helping the community, but actually getting people to do it. And so that was so refreshing to hear because doing this type of work, it's important to like talk about like what you want to do and advocate for kids, but having people that will actually set up a plan and follow through is key, to our mission and to helping out the community.
And you go back and look at some of the numbers he posted, the early 90s belonged to Derek Coleman. As far as New Jersey was concerned, he was a net, and he was a really, really good one. Of course, he stops in Philly and Charlotte, and then obviously he finishes up in Detroit, which kind of made sense, right? There's no other place that he would have ended his career other than in Detroit. So again, one more time, where the people can find you and where people can help.
They can find us at www.allgoodlivingfoundation.org, and you can get all our information there.
He is the executive director of the All Good Living Foundation. Really interesting stuff. And I think one of the best parts is that avenues and opportunities continue to be open for people, to whether it's if they have time to donate, if they have a budget to donate, they continue to get these options. And it's only a matter of time until that starts bearing fruit. So Chris, thank you very much for taking the time.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
That's Chris Tam of All Good Living. The All Good Living Foundation, it's their website, allgoodlivingfoundation.org. And that's going to do it for this edition of Tighten Up the Podcast. We've got more, and we've got a whole lot to be decided, especially in the next couple of weeks. It is a very important time for Detroit Mercy student athletes, for men's basketball, for women's basketball. We'll plan on talking to Kay Doctor, the head coach of the women's team. We will check in with her to see how things are going on the women's side in the days and weeks ahead. We'll, of course, keep it very, very tuned to what's going on the men's side, and we will continue to update you on everything that happens here in Titans off season. It's going to do it for this edition of Tighten Up the Podcast. Again, my thanks to Chris Tam, the executive director of the All Good Living Foundation. And I'll talk to you Titans of Industry next time.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Tighten Up the Podcast. Join our community at The Shield on theshieldnil.org and follow us on X and Instagram at The Shield NIL.
If I can tell you one thing above all else as part of this show, it would be this. If you're unfamiliar, if you haven't done it before, join the community at The Shield Online. It's online at theshieldnil.org. That's theshieldnil.org.